As per our expectations, price action has certainly reached some of our targets down here, guys. But more importantly, it did reach some of the primary targets, like, for example, this one right here, bam, right into that 50% distribution of this area here. Of course, we were still talking about the potential liquidity grab zones, right? If you were paying attention in the threads of analysis prior to tonight's, we did reach those as well, right? But yeah, your primary entries were landing somewhere in the areas of 278.32 to 277.59. Additional liquidity grab here at 276.99. Furthermore, there could have been a continuation to the downside into this lower bound. I wasn't promising the potentials of this, but your 278s, the 280s, these are still very strong potentials. Now, as you can see, price action has lifted here, and it does appear as though we have a continuation to the upside from this point on. Now, I will express to you a dynamic that kind of happens here within price action, and it does happen throughout traditional markets. It also happens throughout currencies, forex, futures, and now over the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, I've been noticing that price action is balancing out to act very similarly as those other types, right? So I'm going to go ahead and explain that to you and see how this price action moves and how it kind of waves in and out of conditions here, guys. But before we get started, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive. My name is Arca. I'm actually coming at you here today at 10:05 p.m. Pacific time, September 4th, Thursday. Present price action here for XRP, sitting at 281.40. And it appears as though we have a nice little bounce to that upside from that area, like we said, right? It was just literally here where we drew it from, right? Now, guys, please know that these scammers are all over the place. I want you to know what my handle kind of looks like, right? If it's got to be like this, right? It's got this animation thing. I also put on here, I do not offer copy or mirror trades ever. I am the one and only Arca. I also put this little negative icon there so that it appears like I don't want you to talk to me, but of course my team knows that they can reach out to me at any time. And should you I'm saying here that if you join the Discord trading team, then you're more than likely going to receive a message, a direct message from someone who appears to be like me, without any of these characteristics here, of course. And they're going to be telling you that you should turn off your messages and all that good stuff. And have you ever heard of our new profitable team or new profitable strategy trading cryptocurrencies under this coin here? They're going to try to get your XRP. They're going to try to get your money. Never give your money out. Okay, guys, this is it is certainly not me. And also watch out for the people in the in the comments below, right here on YouTube. In the comments below, they'll put phone numbers, they'll put all kinds of things that are just if it sounds sketchy, it's because it probably is. Okay, guys, watch out for all those things. And of course, guys, you already know that I'm going to be upping the price here for the Discord memberships. So, and that's because we're adding all the premium bots, we're adding all the premium everything into this. We're going to do a full circle, full service Discord, guys. And in order to preserve safety, we're going to go ahead and due to the additional tools that we're going to add for the traders and stuff, we're going to be upping the price. So if you look in the description below, you'll notice there that there is a one-time fee that you can do as a forever thing, right? You guys can catch that as a lifetime membership, and yeah. Otherwise, for the newer members, you'll be catching a potential $59.99 price point for a monthly subscription here with the Arca Bulls. Okay, team. So with that said, let's go ahead and stop the shilling here and continue our analysis with the XRP price action. Okay, guys. So the dynamic I wanted to show you guys was, you know what? I think I could actually do it through the means of a new chart first, right? So we were observing this in, let's see. Yeah, this was the 2-hour chart, right? So yeah, this is good enough. Let's go ahead and create a new chart here, right? Make sure that this thing is landing on a logarithmic scale, right down here. Let's go ahead and put 2-hour, and we'll do XRP. We're going to use the USD, right? Okay, so this is, just like the other chart that you were observing. let's see, actually this one here, right? This exact chart, just without any of those drawings, just right here. Okay, so yeah, what I wanted to show you here was actually this, right? So observe your local bottom down here, right? If we draw kind of like a box like this and take it all the way to the top of this here, that displays to you a 50% of distribution, right? So this would be right about here. So typically what happens is price tends to oscillate around areas like this all the time. Now, the last time we actually came down from this, see how price at here, look, see how price action right about here kind of dipped in and finally created its resistance and came down. Of course, I know that's an outlier there, but whatever. So yeah, we created the resistance, right? And we came down and kind of supported from these areas similarly to how we bounced here. And this had us bounce towards an upside. Okay, now this time from this downside, I'm sorry, from this upside here, we kind of made our way down, and this kind of just slipped below. So then in that slip, apologies, we created our macro low, which we tested again. And when we came back up to validate this here, that time we actually failed and came down to double bottom this here. But look at what happens again, right? So at the breakout here, right, at this breakout, we actually come back and we validate the 50% validation, and then we continue towards the upside, right? Eventually reaching this top marker that we reached up here. Now, what's happening is that we broke out from the 50% here. Now we're coming back down to validate that 50% before we continue towards the upside, right? Now, could it be again that we want to make sure that this 50% is in fact valid, right? Maybe this wasn't enough of a validation. Maybe it is that we're looking at this from an 8-hour perspective and there's not really any validation here, right? So it's maybe we need to go up test, come back and actually test the 50% and then continue, which then falls under the potentials of that, the formation that we were observing just yesterday, which could have been the inverse head and shoulders, right? So here it is. So could it be that we're in a chop zone right now and maybe we're actually finally just coming out of this 50%, testing that top side, coming back down to validate where we just came from, and then continuing to a new high? Well, that is also a probability here. And we're going to find out through mathematics and through volatility and momentum and all that good stuff. All good. So where would that take us? Well, that's a good question. I guess we're just going to have to find out here, right? Now, but there's another few things and dynamics here that we can that we could observe as like potential reasons, right? Through charting reasons. There's a few things that are suggesting that we could have been at a great low here too, right? So for example, this bounce from this candle here, the bounce from this candle here, and also the bounce from this candle right back here, which was the lows of about August 22nd, 2025, 5 a.m. Pacific time, and several other areas, right? So if I just kind of like draw a line here, just like this here, and look right, well, it looks relative to a whole bunch of those areas there. In fact, if I draw the lowest potential here with this wick, well, that'll show us that we are clearly at the 50% distribution of this area here, which just so happens to be that we're at the 50% distribution of this area right here. So everything's kind of rhyming now. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with timing too. So if it does have timing confluence, well, that I'm all about that right there, right? Probabilities and timing would be on me. So let's zoom in here and take a look at that. Bam, smack in the middle, perfect. And then we bounce towards the upside, which, by the way, we, not to boast or whatever. Again, I just want to go ahead and point out that that those targets were already figured here for you, right? And there it is. Right at the 50%. And by the way, guys, this was mathematically figured. It was not figured via these pivots or lesser this pivot right there. It was not done through that. It was done through mathematics. So very good for the mathematics to see confluence here. So I like it. Now let's go ahead and just practice our volatility and see if we actually have something good happening out of this present situation. So yeah, why don't we do that now? Okay, so let's start from a granular time frame, right? Immediate short term. So let's take a look at your 2-minute time. All right, so the 2-minute time just opened up a new bar. It has a little bit of weakness here, but it's not validated yet as weakness. So I'm going to consider that still an upside. Okay, so 41 seconds for this 3-minute bar to close. It's still on an upward bound, and it's not actually strong enough in comparison to this large bar, so I consider that upside still too. 4-hour time frame is also closing in about 1:30, and it's not strong enough either. I think this still postured to the upside, looking pretty good. 5-minute time frame still postured to the upside. I think we have upside, yep. And let's see, we're continuing to the upside posturing here into the 10-minute time frame. What we're looking for is the final time frame that has a complete downside posturing to tell us that that is the end of our upside ATR, right? So we're going to use the downside ATR from that in opposition. So here we go, 15-minute time frame, just opened up a new bar, expansion, upside still validated, huge green bar. All right, 20-minute time frame does suggest continuation to the upside very strongly here, and it looks like it's closing in about 5 minutes. 30-minute time frame still postured to the upside, 15 minutes to close on that. Hourly time frame, very impressive upside on this. Expansion is starting, just opened up that new hourly bar, very likely upside continuation. Continuation into the 2-hour. This feels pretty damn good, guys. You know, still upside into the 4-hour, 6-hour. And this might be it on the 6-hour actually. Let's see. It's the kink that's getting me here, guys. This is not a good kink. It means that we still potentially have upside. So let's just use it for now. This is telling us that we would move about 5 cents from the opening of the bar, giving us a top ATR of around 284.85. Okay, so 284.85 we're very familiar with, incredibly familiar with, right? These are the resistances, the hard targets would actually be right up here where we've marked off many things before, right? So this is really close to your 284 here. This is your 283.83. And should there be any others, this right here, we've pointed out several times, right? 284.25 to 284.57 here is an actual liquidity pocket of that. And should we reach any higher, then this would have to be one of the targets there, 285.80. So this is presently what this is suggesting. They're suggesting for us to reach the top side of that, the top side of that resistance there. So if we do have that in line, you also have some might as well targets at around 286.27 too. And yeah, it's getting close to breakout here. So if there's a downside to start from the 6-hour time frame, which is closing in 43 minutes, from that point there, well, that would tell us that we have some kind of a continuation to the downside too. Well, maybe. Now we would need, right, a complete upside posturing on stochastic momentum to tell us how much downside we're going to get from that point. So let's see. We would see potentially a complete downside, right? Oh, there it is. So we have a 3-day completion of ATR downside from that point there. So the thing is that that may have already happened. We already opened the 3-day, and we have a day and 19 hours to kind of close this. So that would be 27 cents to the downside, giving us a ATR low of what we've talked about, a 257 low, but this thing stopped at 277 and now it's completely recovering. So what could that have meant? Remember the one dynamic that we talk about, guys. 60 to 70% of the time you'll get a 30 to 50% prior bar retrace before continuing towards your destination. So here's that huge green bar. Here is the 279, 50%. We reached 278, and now we're bouncing from the 50% of the prior bar. So it's looking pretty good. Okay, now, so just like yesterday, right, we were suggesting that the low is presently in, right? I still think that the low is in. Okay, so that means that we'll get upside continuation. What's the upside? Well, the upside is presently, we can calculate it from now too. So that would be 27 cents up from the 3-day open. So that's giving us a top side here of about $3.11. So $3.11 headed towards that upside. It looks like it would land right around this target, right about here, in this pocket here. Let's just say that would be around 307-ish, right? So that's your hard target there. 307 top based on the 3-day time frame. But remember that this is just where it started from. So yeah, that's just the thing there. So what's the what's the plan here? I think we should wait for it. I think we should wait until we get there. Because now we're breaking a psychological level. It's important for us to number one, we need to get over 285 to 288. Right, guys, we need to make sure that we can break above the 285 and 88 by the immediate short term. Next upside, we have to beat the 299, which is the 299 to 301, which is $3. If we can get an 8-hour, a 4-hour with an 8-hour minimum closing candle above the 301, well, that can certainly introduce the stronger probabilities of a 307 next. And it's feeling like it, okay? I mean, do you want me to validate again? Sure. Let's just one more look, one more go around before we do our little dance here. All right. So if we're looking at, yeah, we said that these are the retracements here because of a new trend that just presently happened 2 minutes at a time, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, cool. 2-minute time frame downside, 3 down. That's going to be 4 or 5 down, continuing into the 10, 15, 20. That changed real quick. 30 minutes of downside. That would prove a low of about $2.80. We got $2.80 there. Retracing the 50% at 7 to 9 minute average. Perfect. And that usually means upside continuation. So upside continues and downside is done. So 30 minutes upside. Let's go. Hourly time frame, upside continuation. Hourly time frame prior bar pullback has been there, 30%. Good. 2-hour time frame up, 3 up, 4 up, 6 would be, yeah, so we were saying about 6 hours up from there, right? Now, here's the thing. The 6-hour time frame is going to close a bullish engulfing here. So that means that this is likely going to shift to the upside. So that would be 6 hours up, and then 8 hours continues because of this little kink here. So 12 hours continuation, daily continuation. We need a downside pivot, guys, completely. So yeah, three, yeah. Okay, so local targets. I'm going to give you a 6-hour first. 6-hour closing at about 281 would send you around 5 cents to the upside. So which, of course, sending you to the 285 target that we just talked about, right? We have to get over the 285, which is right here, 284.25 to 284.57 mentioned before. And here's the line in the sand would be the 285.80 in order for us to validate the break into the $3 zone. Statistically speaking, the next downside, because that 6 hour is going to turn into an upside here. Statistically speaking, the next downside here is going to be not until the 3-day time frame. So that 3-day time frame, all it's doing, it's still got a day and 19 hours to go. All it's doing is retracing to the 50% before it continues to 311. So if that happens, your 3-day time frame then turns upside at the close, which means this becomes the new time frame for the upside, and it would be another 27 cents up, so 331. Right? So now your 4-day time frame, that's closing in around 18 hours. Since this is planned to go to around 307, well, this is also creating a bullish engulfing, isn't it? Interesting. So then your 4-day time frame pivots to the upside, 32 cents to the upside, 343. Okay, interesting. So we're cascading time into this, right? What about your 5-day time frame? The 5-day time frame is, let's see. Yeah, but I think we're going to need to close on this later, guys. We're going to find out. 2 days and 19 hours, still too far away. Do we have a weekly coming up? Yeah, nothing yet. Yeah, guys, let's just kind of wait here for now, right? I already cascaded things all the way to $3.40 some odd. So let's kind of just hang on to our knickers here and let this thing kind of happen, right? I do think that this is a pretty nice continuation. Yeah. So heads up, okay, team. This could have been, this might have actually been the floor here. I am not seeing any signs of continuing to the downside, by the way, okay? So, and just to kind of remind everybody here, the regression on your inverse head and shoulders plus the target expected on this, this would probably be I don't know. It looks kind of close to, well, what do you know? 307. It's actually 308.66. But yeah, guys, I think this is looking pretty good. Consider joining the team. Consider joining the team. All right. I think this is a pretty good place to leave off. If any questions, you reach out to me at arcabulls@gmail.com. Okay, guys. I'm sorry that this is a long ass video here. Throw those ATWs right in the chat below. And I love you all so much. We'll speak very, Jerry, Scary Larry soon. All right, team. Adios. And yeah, adios. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Ever, 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 ever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well. A very, very good rest of your night and or day. And I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team. Oh, yeah.